Picture this, you're brushing your teeth, water's running, but what if I told you that a stranger across the world could shut it off, change the pressure, or poison it? Not in a movie, but in small town America, with just a browser tab. This week on CyberDev News Corner, we are diving into cyber attacks hitting the very core of our daily lives. Water systems, tax refunds, business data, and even the tools we trust to work remotely. Let's get into it. In our first story, water systems human-machine interfaces exposed. Let's start with the headline. Nearly 400 water treatment HMIs, human-machine interfaces, were exposed to the internet across the US. That means anyone with a browser could see, and in 40 cases, control water facility operations. Census identified these interfaces using TLS certificates and screenshots to confirm which systems were exposed. Some required authentication, some were read-only, but 40 were accessible without any restrictions. By May 2025, approximately 94% had been secured, but it took 8 months. That's right, 8 months, during which attackers could have disrupted the water supply, altered chemical dosing, or shut things down completely. We are talking real-world consequences. Clean water, fire protection, sanitation, all vulnerable. The key takeaway in this is that municipal utilities often don't have the resources or cybersecurity expertise to audit these systems. The vulnerable setups were often unknown to leadership. Some were added for operator convenience without a risk assessment. The lesson in this, if you're in public service IT or security, now is the time to step up. Volunteer with InfraGard, support water utility audits, or push for segmented network architecture and monitored access. This is bigger than tech. It's about protecting life essentials. For our next segment, Salesforce social engineering attacks, a dangerous blend of voice phishing and data theft. Google Threat Intelligence reports a campaign targeting Salesforce users via Vishing. Attackers impersonated internal IT staff, tricked employees into granting access to the Salesforce data loader tool, and stole sensitive data. But here's the twist. Some of these extortion attempts didn't come until months later. The attackers waited, studied their victims, and then leveraged the stolen data for maximum psychological and financial pressure. This wasn't a mass phishing campaign. It was surgical. Around 20 organizations were hit, each selected, studied, and socially engineered with phone-based impersonation attacks. Some cases might have used deepfake audio to imitate real IT staff. The lesson in all of this, security awareness training has to evolve. Stop relying on email-only phishing simulations. Incorporate voice phishing or phishing, unexpected caller verification, and the stop, think, act framework into your team's muscle memory. For our next story, Cisco ISC vulnerability in the cloud. Now let's talk about hard-coded credentials, a cloud-age sin. Cisco's identity services engine had a vulnerability where the same credentials were generated on every install access AWS, Azure, and Oracle. That means every department using version 3.1 to 3.4 had identical admin login info. This opened the door for attackers to access sensitive system data, make configuration changes, or disrupt services with no authentication required. Worse proofs of conflict code exist in the wild. The big risk of it all, this affects cloud and hybrid environments where identity services are the backbone of user access and policy enforcement. A compromise here is like giving your enemy the blueprint to your firewall and badge reader. Now, the lesson in all of this, update immediately. Cisco recommends patching and then manually resetting credentials using the application config command to tighten ACLs to limit access to the admin panel. Don't wait on this because the attackers won't. In our next one, nation-state actor exploits ConnectWise. ScreenConnect. ConnectWise just joined the long list of companies exploited by nation-state actors. This time, it was a view state abuse flaw in ScreenConnect that allowed remote code execution CVE 2025-3935, which got a 7.2 CVSS score. But what made it dangerous was that it was being exploited before the April patch. Mandiant was brought in, which is always a sign of high-level threat activity. While cloud instances were patched quickly, many on-prem setups remain unprotected. The action plan is patch to 25.24 now. Don't assume you are safe just because no alerts have fired yet. Nation-state actors don't trigger alarms. they linger in silence. The lesson in all of this, remote management tools are becoming prime targets. Lock them down like they're vaults, because the threat actors, they are. In our next segment, Schneider Electric EOL device flaws. Let's talk legacy tech. Schneider Electric disclosed critical buffer overflow vulnerabilities in Wiser Avatar on 6K and Quadro H5P smart sockets. The problem, they're end of life. No patches are coming. The bug originates from the Silicon Labs Gecko bootloader on ARM chips. The attackers can exploit it to gain remote code execution. These devices are still running in homes, quietly, waiting for someone to hijack them. The lesson in this, if you're using outdated smart devices, it's time to retire them. It's not about function. It's about exposure. Legacy IoT is often the weak point in home networks, and attackers know it. In our next segment, Lee Enterprises ransomware attack. Lee Enterprises, the newspaper giant, confirmed a ransomware attack that affected nearly 40,000 people. The attackers stole names and social security numbers. But here's what's worse. The breach happened in February, but the public didn't hear about it until June. Data theft and delayed disclosures are a growing problem. Victims are left exposed for months before action is even taken. The insight on all this, credit monitoring is a band-aid. Real protection means freezing your credit, setting up fraud alerts, and protecting children's social security numbers as well. The main lesson is this: the next breach won't send an invitation. Get proactive and identity protection now. For our next one, FBI updates on Play Ransomware. Play Ransomware is on a roll. 900 plus confirmed victims and growing. Their binary is recompiled for each attack, which means antivirus programs struggle to detect it. They're exploiting CVE 2025-57727 in Simple Help and using phone intimidation to scare victims into payment. The tactics that they're using is a combination of technical exploits and psychological pressure. Victims receive calls threatening exposure unless a ransom is paid. That's not just digital, it's warfare. The lesson in this, patch Simple Help if you use it, and train staff on ransomware escalation plans. Preparation beats panic every time. And our next one, Microsoft's free EU government security program. Microsoft just launched a free AI-powered cybersecurity program for European governments. It includes access to threat intelligence tools from the Digital Crimes Unit and partnerships to help dismantle cyber criminal networks. The strategic view in this, some see it as a goodwill move. Others see it as a PR repair after years of breaches. Either way, governments benefit from better tooling, and Microsoft regains trust. The lesson in this, public-private partnerships in cybersecurity are vital. The more intel sharing, the better the global defense posture. In this segment, UK tax authority report a £47 million phishing attack. HMRC just disclosed that scammers stole £47 million by compromising 100,000 taxpayer accounts. The attack used classic phishing techniques, exploited weaknesses in MFA setup, and automated account handling. Critical flaw in this, MPs were upset they weren't informed sooner. But the bigger story is this. The systems allowed refunds to be claimed. With minimal verification. The lesson in this, phishing attacks are only as effective as the systems they abuse. Auditing those systems for weak points is just as important as training users. Let's wrap up with the week's cyber forecast. Fake Zoom call clients are spreading malware via fake updates. Python tar file module filter not working as intended, which is bad news for securing and unpacking. And Cisco backdoor credential flaws are fixed. vBulletin exploits surfacing again, despite patches from a year ago. The moral of the story, hackers don't need new tricks when old ones still work. A key reminder of it all, download tools from official sources, apply patches promptly, and remember, being behind on updates is like walking into a trap with your eyes open. This week proved something big. The line between physical and digital infrastructure is gone. Cyber attacks don't just hit servers, they hit faucets, tax returns, and business tools. Stay informed, stay secure. And if you learned something today, hit that like, subscribe, and share with someone who still thinks cybersecurity is just for IT. See you all next time. This is CyberDev, helping you stay safe one click at a time.